I am a 52-year-old man who has dedicated nearly 3 decades of my life to working as an accountant in a small firm. Like many fathers, I put in long hours, took on extra jobs, and seized every opportunity for overtime to ensure that my daughters, Rachel, 27, and Jessica, 24, could enjoy the best life possible. I stretched myself thin to provide what I believed was a good life for them, including private tutors, new cars at 16, study abroad programs, and full tuition to prestigious colleges. I even subsisted on ramen noodles for weeks, so Rachel could pursue art history studies in Florence. Their mother, Deborah, left when Jessica was just 3, claiming she felt trapped. She quickly found her freedom with her tennis coach, Marco. After the divorce, I was granted full custody, and those years spent with the girls were undoubtedly the happiest of my life. However, everything changed last March when Deborah became engaged to a high-flying investment banker named Bradley Harrison. The girls were ecstatic, spending weekends at his place and returning with designer handbags and tales of yachts and vacation homes. Although I was uneasy about the situation, their happiness was my priority. Then came October. I spent 2 days preparing their favorite Sunday dinner from scratch, even using the fine china passed down from my mother. They arrived late, both wearing identical Cartier bracelets and stepping out of Bradley's Mercedes. Without even removing her coat, Rachel said, "Dad, we need to talk," and Jessica followed up with the news that they would be spending Christmas with their mother and Bradley in a rented chalet in the Alps. While this hurt, I suggested we celebrate early. Then came the real shock. Rachel stated coldly that they needed to reevaluate our family dynamic. Jessica added that Bradley wanted to adopt them, an adult adoption for estate planning purposes. I struggled to comprehend it all. Jessica bluntly stated, "You're not our biological father. Mom told us she had an affair with Marco before the divorce." I felt the ground shift beneath me, recalling the DNA tests from the custody case, which Deborah claimed I had faked. Rachel dismissed the details, saying, "It doesn't matter. We're moving on from this." She waved her hand around my modest home as if it were something shameful. They left without touching the food, without hugging me, and without a goodbye. I stood there amidst untouched dishes, engulfed in a profound emptiness. 3 days later, I retrieved the DNA tests from my safe deposit box, affirming a 99.9% paternity for both girls. I reached out to my friend Sarah, a family law attorney, and we sent a cease and desist letter demanding they stop spreading falsehoods. Their response, through Bradley's lawyer, was a firm insistence on their claims and a request for my cooperation in transferring parental rights. Jessica even posted on Instagram about leaving toxic relationships and celebrating her chosen family, accompanied by a smiling photo of herself with Bradley at a gala. The responses were polarized, with some praising her bravery while others deemed her ungrateful. Shortly after, Bradley began texting me, urging me to sign the adoption papers. "You've had your time," he wrote. "Let a real man take over. I can give them what you never could." I responded only once, demanding DNA proof or for him to cease contact. His retort was dismissive. "Real men know when to step aside." Deborah soon followed, pressuring me to acquiesce. "Why are you making this so hard?" she implored. "Bradley can open doors for them. Why can't you just let go?" I insisted they were my daughters. She scoffed and warned me not to escalate things to court, suggesting I not force them to prove their point. Her words ignited something within me. I began to investigate. A week later, I hit a goldmine. Bradley was not the financial whiz he claimed to be. Through my accountant network, I learned he was under investigation for securities fraud by the SEC. The mansion was leased, the yacht borrowed from a client who was now suing him, and all those grand opportunities were nothing but illusions. Even more revealing was the reason behind his desire to adopt my daughters. He was selling himself as a devoted family man to investors. 2 successful adult daughters would enhance that image, and I was merely an inconvenience. I had raised those girls and sacrificed for them, only to be discarded because of a deception wrapped in luxury. But this story is far from over. Jessica's job at a marketing firm and Rachel's role in art curation painted a picture of stability, but the adoption was not about securing their future. It was about maintaining appearances. Perhaps I acted out of spite, but instead of confronting them directly, I took actions that left a mark. I canceled their phone plans, removed them from my credit cards, changed the Netflix password, and sent them a bill itemizing their car expenses and college fees, totaling $372,000. The reaction was swift. Rachel confronted me at my office, demanding to know why I had cut off her phone during work hours. "Sorry, do I know you?" I replied. "Dad, this isn't funny," she insisted. Jessica visited that evening, tears in her eyes, pleading, "Daddy, please. We didn't mean it." Rachel's words hung heavy in the air, revealing that Bradley had suggested distancing themselves from me would benefit his investor meetings, implying that a middle-class father would tarnish his image. 2 weeks later, Bradley's financial troubles made headlines. It turned out the situation was worse than anyone realized. Federal agents were building a case for a Ponzi scheme. He had been using funds from new investors to pay old ones, and he was quickly running out of options. The engagement crumbled when Deborah discovered the mansion was a rental and the family fortune was fictitious. She attempted to return to me, but that ship had sailed long ago. My daughters, however, sought to salvage what they could. They posted online, accusing me of financially abusing them for demanding repayment of their education. Rachel's best friend, someone I had supported through college, called me in tears, revealing that Rachel was portraying me as a monster. My sister even chimed in, suggesting I should forgive them. I maintained all communications through lawyers. Sarah sent them formal letters demanding repayment for the car payments and establishing a timeline for transferring titles. They had to acknowledge my role as their father or face payment obligations. Subsequently, Bradley's lawyer sent me a threatening letter accusing me of extortion and emotional blackmail, claiming I was damaging his business by spreading rumors about his financial issues. Sarah found it amusing, predicting the discovery phase would be entertaining. Social media became a battleground with friends taking sides. It got ugly, but I remained silent, watching the chaos unfold. A month later, Bradley was arrested. Federal agents raided his office and the rental mansion, while Deborah was caught attempting to flee with suitcases full of cash. She was deeper in the scam than anyone had realized. My daughters finally recognized they had backed the wrong horse. They arrived at my house, looking disheveled and shocked. "Dad," Rachel began, "we made a mistake." "Several," I corrected her. With Bradley gone and their mother likely facing jail time, they expressed their need for help. However, when they revealed that the FBI had frozen their accounts due to their involvement in meetings with Bradley, I sighed and told them to get a lawyer. 3 months later, things settled down. Bradley received a 12-year sentence in federal prison, while Deborah was sentenced to 3 years for conspiracy after cooperating with authorities. My daughters were not charged, as the prosecutor deemed them willfully ignorant rather than criminally complicit, but their reputations were shattered. Rachel lost her curator position, and Jessica was let go from her firm due to the scandal. They were now living together in a small apartment, working retail jobs to make ends meet. They had managed to repay about $15,000 of what they owed me for the cars, but I was not counting on the rest. Then I received a letter from Rachel. "Dad, I don't expect forgiveness," she wrote. "We chose greed over love, lies over family. Every sacrifice you made, every hour you worked, we threw away for designer bags and fancy parties. See you now. All of it. And I'm so sorry. Your daughter, if you'll still have me." I have yet to respond, uncertain if I ever will. Jessica's letter was shorter. "I'm sorry for everything. You deserved better. My sister believes I should forgive them, but I question whether they truly deserve it. As for me, I'm doing well. I took a long overdue vacation and began dating again. Sarah's sister, in fact. She is kind, works hard, and brings no drama. I received a promotion to senior accountant, discovering that without the stress of my daughter's issues, I could perform better. Do I miss them? Every day. But I miss who I believed they were, not who they revealed themselves to be. Will I forgive them? Perhaps. But trust is earned, and they have a long road ahead. The hardest lesson I've learned is that while love should be unconditional, respect is not. Thank you for following my story. Sharing it has been cathartic. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a life to live. To address some common questions. Yes, the DNA tests are authentic and stem from the original custody case. No, I am not financing their legal troubles. Yes, they are both attempting to rebuild their careers. No, I do not regret cutting them off. Yes, I saved all the receipts, every single one.